points and our topic today is basically following the trends, what happenings at this moment among our audience. Like after we heard a lot of insight from previous sessions, discussions as well, we are talking about a lot about the audience behavior. So one of it is we are seeing the changing behavior among our audience in how they consume the content, specifically the TV content. So thanks to technology as well, that unlocking the audience can see the TV content, not when they are arriving at home, just like previously. I am the football lovers, by the way. So every time my favorite club have a match, I need to go home on time because I don't want to miss it. Now, since the technology is there, I can watch it everywhere, anywhere I want. So, in the streaming world as well, many content options is available. Top of that, even our TV broadcasters serving a greater content nowadays to be consumed among our audience. Some of tech company, might be one of us in here will be share about it, is aware about it. The telco company aware about it. The content provider or OTT platform is also aware about it. And as well as from the brand inside also aware about it. And all of us is adapt with these situations. Means the TV advertising is significantly transformations. So today we will discuss about it, how from each multi-touch points we'll adapt with these situations. Let me start with one question. Except for Mas Arief, I have another questions for you. How has this shift to streaming platform affected the existing traditional TV advertising methods? Maybe Avijit can start.
Sure. Am I audible? Great. Sounds good. So I think the shift is happening and happening very dramatically. Now, let me talk about OTT platforms or streaming platforms and evaluate it from both reach and effectiveness perspective. From a reach perspective, I mean, there are various data available, like AMPD. Magnite also has some great reports on it. I was looking at some Trade Desk report, and it suggested that in Indonesia, there are about 50 million plus people looking at OTT content. With ads served as part of the experience. And on top, there's about 30 million additional subscribers to OTT services who are actually paying for the service. So 80 million is not a small number.
That's massive.
Yeah. So that's where the reach, from a reach perspective, that's where the OTT industry has reached in Indonesia. If I look at impact and effectiveness, I can probably quote one example, which is we follow the trends of what has been the top titles or the effective titles of the year, which has taken people by storm, or it's reflected by the share of voice in social media. And across all media, which is the silver screen, the TV screen, the computer, and the mobile screen, we saw that Glory by Netflix and Taxi Driver 2 from View were in the top 5 in terms of titles which have taken the imagination of the Indonesian audience. And they happen to be OTT titles, those creating buzz in social media. So few examples or parameters that I may suggest, that I've kind of mentioned, suggest that yes, OTT is now mainstream and it's come of age. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Avijit. How about you, Priyanka? What is your insight of this?
Completely agree. I mean, some people question whether TV is dying. I would rather say that TV is not dying. It's going through a rapid phase of evolution. If you look at the streaming partners available out there in the market, right from Netflix of the world to Disney's of the world, right? They have completely changed the entertainment industry. And why do we talk only about Netflix and Disney? Let's talk about View. The kind of content that is being available today to the consumers. And it's no more appointment viewing, right? There are not designated times where people are logging in and watching it. Today, we have given consumers so much choice to consume content and diversified content, consume it wherever they want, whenever they want. So the complete style of consumption of content has changed. That's number one. I don't think broadcasters are left behind. They are catching up the game. They are launching their own streaming services now, which has led to a lot of fragmentation, I would say. Today, consumers have a lot of choice. I mean, in the olden days wherein people had to pay huge amounts of money for connections, today we are talking about monthly subscriptions. We're talking about ad-supported models. So consumers can cut down on the cost. At the same time, they understand the true value exchange in the AVOD model. So largely, if we have to compare where advertising was on TV, and it was more of a mass advertising, we are moving towards the world of more targeted advertising, data-driven advertising. And obviously, it's opening up the venue for smaller direct-to-consumer brands to get access to that premium inventory, which was sitting in the hand of a few big brands, because the kind of investments it required was huge. Today, a nimble, small brand can make investments, increase their CPMs, and get the same time with the consumers.
Okay, perfect. But we don't want just to shift the budget on TV to digital, right, Priyanka? We want to like upscale it, the budget, yeah? So we can reach like more and more audience, not only on TV, but as well as on digital platform. Agree, Pak Avijit? Okay. So how about you, Pak Rian, from the brand's point of view?
Sure. With any technology, consumers are always at the forefront of change. My fellow panelists definitely have a more accurate data and have higher authority to validate this. But I do believe that OTT consumer have grown massively. But the advertisers' shift from TV to OTT is taking slower. And because the money is on the advertiser, due to that, the OTT native content, especially in Indonesia, is not as fabulous as we hoped. Though the variety is getting way wider, it's getting more niche, but on each individual niche, the quality is not as fabulous as we hoped for. Therefore, we actually have to wait for an ecosystem, or actually take the risk as a brand to go in individually and not wait for the ecosystem.
Okay, nice insight. So, as I mentioned, I have a different questions for you, Pak Arief. From the telco inside, how is the landscape on streaming platform has changed? Do you see some shifting, just like almost all of us aware about it?
Yeah. Okay. So looking at from our data perspectives, that today we have 88 million customers within Telkomsel that is actively in digital world, and today from all the kind of platform that we have, video platform is the one that driving the usage. Video platform together are now contributed about 32.6% of total payload generated within Telkomsel, and they are the number one, outbeating the total payload of social media. That's also the reason why we've seen that people are more and more engaging to the video platform in terms of the way they consume the content. But I must say that there's a bit of shift between when the pandemic happened and then the post-pandemic. So I think when the pandemic happened, the subscription model growth, the growth is just substantial. But I think when now moving into post-pandemic, now some of them actually shifted to the UGC kind of content. But I'm not saying that, but the total users is still growing, because usually the UGC, because it's ads-based, it drives more people to actually use it, which is a good news. And it doesn't mean that the users from the subscription platform actually going away. Only a bit is going away on the price-sensitive one, but the bulk of that is still there. And those two kind of have different segment according to our data. The one that is UGC, of course, they are more towards the price-sensitive, more low income. But the one that is on the subscription method is more on the premium customers. And I think that's also the reason why, you see telco today, there's a lot of partnership that we did, and we still do with all the video platform providers, because we know, one, they drive more usage, they drive more engagement, and somehow they also drive loyalty towards Telkomsel, because with video, they can truly enjoy the differentiator of Telkomsel has in terms of power of network. Because, when you want to consume that, then, you cannot see the difference, what we bring. And on those shifting, I think all telco play a deliberate effort actually to create the shift as well, because we know if people use video more, that's the easiest way for telco to make more money from connectivity point of view. So I think I think we play quite a big role as well, other than concept, to actually drive the shift towards video platform.
So basically, the total users or audience through OTT platform is increasing, but after post-pandemic, more users using the non-subscriber instead of subscribe the OTT platform. Okay, gotcha. So let's move to the next questions. I'm very curious, actually, with this shifting, with this changing, what is the current state at this moment from all of you? Maybe we can start from the current state of OTT business in Southeast Asia and Indonesia, Pak Avijit.
Sure. I think Southeast Asia is the most exciting market for all OTT players, and you would see all players, international, regional, as well as local players being active in this region. In Southeast Asia, we as View are present in 7 markets. And cumulatively, we have a reach of about 66 million monthly active users, making us number 1 as per last quarterly reports. In Indonesia, we basis our reach, we happen to be number 2, behind video, of course, very close to them. And this keeps on, that's the spirit of it. But I think the key is together jointly, how do we grow the market? And that's been the focus. Now, as the state of OTT business in Indonesia, let me just quickly touch upon the 3 aspects of it, which is content, engagement, and monetization. From a content perspective, Indonesia took off, and I think pandemic, as Pa mentioned, was a watershed moment. And what actually drove OTT consumption was Korean content, which is what Indonesians took to, like fish to water. Now, what has happened and the changing landscape suggests that there's a lot of Indonesian localization of content and quality content that's happening, which is similar to what we're seeing the trends in Philippines or Malaysia or Thailand. And there's great, strong content, not just us, but it's Netflix, video, etc., who are producing quality content in the local language. That's on content creation side, which is why we see the shift of OTT consumption going beyond Jakarta because of it, and going to the other areas, semi-urban and rural, which is great for Telkomsel because their data consumption is...
Maybe you can consider use the local language as a subtitle, yeah, Pa?
Yeah.
On your some content.
That's right. Now, the second, another thing that we see is there's an interesting landscape changes. Television went from analog to digital, right? And we were just talking about outside with Mudik, one of our advertising industry colleagues, and was talking about the fact that their research suggests that when you go to semi-urban and rural, maybe, and because of this phenomena, TV viewership is changing, and some of them are actually watching social media, content on social media and OTT rather than TV because of this shift, dramatic shift. So that's on the content creation side. On the distribution side, I think partnerships have been driving, and I think the ecosystem is coming around for long format content, which is OTT, to drive those and get them across to the end users, like, for example, the mobile operators and Telkomsel ensuring that the OTT content reaches, every corner of Indonesia. That also includes the pay TV. Pay TV operators who are ensuring it goes to the television channels. And beyond. For example, banks are coming forward. Large retail chains like Indomart are coming forward in talking about how can we partner. In fact, we just launched with them where View is available across the counter in all the Indomart stores. So we see the ecosystem rallying around us because they see OTT adding value across the value chain, whether it's data consumption or transaction across the counter. From the monetization perspective, I think that's where the battle is yet to be kind of fought and won. Because number one, if you look at it, we being freemium service, there's an SVOD side to the business and AVOD. Subscription, as Bas talked about, is a challenge in Indonesia because there's a segment of people who pay for content while the others try to get it for free.
The audience just try to become efficient, Pak.
Yes, absolutely.
Just like the advertisers, yeah.
Yeah, but what I kind of don't like is when they watch it in pirated channels like Telegram, for instance. On the AVOD side of business, I think we're working very hard with the agencies. Most of them are in this room, where we're trying to educate the advertisers that the customers have moved on to OTT screens and how can the marketing dollars follow. And I think that's an education process that we're going through at this point in time. So that's how the landscape kind of pans out.
Okay, thank you, Pak Avijit. I will go to Bu Priyanka. So what value does the streaming ads offer versus the social or UGC video when it comes to strengthening a brand's omni-channel strategy?
A lot. Premium environment deserves premium content. So there is definitely a lot of room for professionally developed content, which is today running on OTT, CTV streaming channels, as compared to social media, right? If we look at brand messaging, it resonates far more with consumers when it's in a premium environment, which is streaming, OTT, and CTV, as compared to in the feed of social media. Social is easily available, it's affordable, but it's not brand safe, it's not transparent, and it's UGC. Now it's a question up to the brands exactly what kind of messaging do they want to leave behind and in which environment. I'll quote some numbers from a study that Magnite did, which is around decoding the connected consumer. We did this study in the month of November 2022. So more than 50% of Indonesian internet-connected consumers are streaming videos more than twice a week. That's number one. And on an average, they are streaming 20 hours of video on a weekly basis. The UGC users are also streaming video. So today, a consumer who's on UGC channel is also accessing open internet, and around 60% of the UGC users are also streaming videos.
Wow. Okay.
Another stat says that 79% of the video viewers are engaging in some form of post-ad action. They might be clicking on an ad, they might be learning a little more from that ad and going to an e-commerce site and searching for the product. So there is a lot of after effect happening after a consumer has been exposed to an ad in a premium environment. Not only that, today, if we look at another study which was done by Avia, which is around the ad environmental study, it says that the consumers are far more immersed when they are in OTT CTV environment, around 60% of them, as compared to only 39% on social media. And definitely, the impact that an ad has on a user when he's or she's far more receptive leads to a higher purchase. So all the stats make it so clear today that OTT and CTV is far more premium as compared to social.
Okay, nice one. Be ready, Pak Avijit and my big gala from video and another OTT platform here. After this, the advertisers will go to you because from Ibu Priyanka inside that the audience who's seeing your ads on the more premium inventory, it's uplift the purchase intent, yeah. So be ready, Pak Avijit. So after this, the next questions will goes to Pak Arief. Pak Rian, sabar dulu ya. Pak Arief, we believe that the telco can give the insight to advertisers to when and where as a geography the most ads the most ads exposed to our audience? Maybe you can share a bit?
Yeah. So in that sense, I think we can actually help because through our insights, we kind of know, I mean, previously it was mentioned that the consumption is going towards different area, not within Java anymore. And it's actually concluded because in our case, Sulawesi is the one now currently the region that give us the most both users and payload growth. So and then second one now is moved to West Java, so which is a bit different. And then those region actually can be dissect into a much smaller cities to see if you wanna, if you have a brand where you want to target and you believe there's a certain growth within certain area and you wanna get an early insights on how actually the user are behaving like that. So I think it was mentioned earlier that even if there's a small brands, they are not covering nationwide yet, but they are really a local brand that live within such city, and they want to know whether those platforms are used or not within the city. And that's something that we can help the brand to actually understand what kind of platform that is being currently used. And then if they want to ask whether what is kind of the time, what is the prime time of this OTT platform?
It will be different with TV, ya, Pak?
Yeah. Okay. So we know that in telco, people consume OTT 25% higher on weekend rather than weekdays. And then in terms of prime time, it's a bit different because on weekdays, it mimics the TV one. It's from 6 to 11 at night. But on the weekend, it's actually kind of spread it across. So, and that's a different way of people, how they consume the TV. And it's also kind of can help the brand on when do you want to hit the TV. And then those can actually be dissect more into what does each platform has their own uniqueness in terms of viewership. That's also something that we can help in addressing too. So in short, where, when, and it's something that we can help. And it's gonna be more interesting moving forward because I think as people know, as per 1 July, IndiHome is given to Telkomsel from Telkom. So now we have more sets of data because now we can combine something that we have missed because we only know what people use in Telkomsel. We don't know if previously they use Wi-Fi services, which is dominated by IndiHome, right? And the one that I talked earlier before, apparently it's only 50% of the safe because 50% of the trend because when we dig deeper to our video platform users through our survey, we do have T-survey as our one product, and we actually ask them, do you only when you use when you consume the media, which devices that you use? Because we might have missed some of the Wi-Fi enabled devices that we don't have, right? And they say that although mobile is still predominantly used, 67%, but connected TV somehow become really high. I mean, it become like 13, almost like 10%. So I mean, 13%. Which is something that, okay, we don't see that in our network, right? Because you don't tether your TV to handphone, right? You use a Wi-Fi for it. And then when we ask, okay, what kind of network did they use? They say that it's almost split between the mobile networks for OTT platform and the Wi-Fi. So that means whatever I said earlier is only 50% of that trend actually. If they truly use Wi-Fi as another network, and with that, I think with IndiHome with us, then we can actually give you a full view on how they can actually consume that media over when, where, what app that they can. I think that's something that the telco can truly help the brand.
Nice one. So questions for Pak Rian from the brand perspective, right? With these situations, I'm sure it will impacting your brand marketing plans. So maybe you can share your thought how this will shift your marketing strategy.
Yep. So with the democratization of content, gone are the days that a handful of media mogul gets to dictate what content is worthy for the whole nation. So as I previously stated, as a brand, Bardi can either wait for the whole ecosystem, as Pak Avijit was saying, that he's educating the advertisers to come into OTT. As a brand, I can either wait for that, which we don't know when, Pak, or I can take a risk and make an IP of our own. So this choice has never been available for us. Let me try to shift so there's no echo. Yep. It's not that I hate you, but it's for the echo. Yeah. So as a brand, we now are presented with this option. We chose the option to create our own IP, which is Bardion, and we believe that if we provide a really high quality content, platforms like OTT, like View, would be more than happy to enlist our content within there. And if our audience really love our product, really love our content, despite whether there is embedded promotional message in there, it will still be consumed in a very high volume and will have some social impact on social media and also offline.
Okay, thanks, Pak. If I continue the topic only with you, maybe we can change the title to brand building, ya, Pak, and brand love. Okay. So next questions, Pak Avijit. I believe that you have many conversations with the advertisers in Indonesia. What the most excites from their perspective about the OTT environment?
It's a great question. Yeah. Basis our conversations that we have with the advertisers as well as the agencies, I think they recognize the fact that what Priyanka was talking about, that content on OTT and watching it on mobile or computer screen, let's say 1.5 feet away from their eyes, is impactful and it's more engaging. Even compared to social media, for instance, where they would go, on a discovery mode rather than being engaged with a specific content mode. So that's an aspect which I think is recognized and which is why the transition of advertising budgets to OTT is underway. Having said that, I think I can speak from View's perspective where we look at how can we amplify it or how can we take it beyond that. So there's some interesting ways in which we look at of kind of integrating brands as part of the OTT experience. It starts with content, where can we layer the brand as part of the content experience, whether it's product placement or going right to the extent of producing content tailor-made for a brand like we did last year and this year with Grab and created an award-winning series with them. So that's layering the brand as part of the content experience as well. Then we look at ways of extracting that bit. For example, Aurelie, one of our stars, used Sunsilk as part of the series, and there was a particular few frames of it. Now, how can we take that snippet and make it go viral in social media so that the customers beyond our platform recognize the fact that there is a brand association with a View star and how it was dovetailed within the content itself. That's the social media kind of amplification, if I may call it. We take it further to, let's say, on ground, where we create these shows that we do, travel across cities of Indonesia as part of roadshows and View Chit Chats, which help drive the brand's message further with their association with that project. Or whether it's form of a Korean star coming here and interacting with their fans, and essentially with the association of that brand who's sponsored the show that he's been part of, like Lee Ji-hoon and Taxi Driver, who was recently here. The brand's message gets more impactful propagation with their target audiences. So agencies are getting excited about these kind of 360 campaigns that we can build. On top of that as well, the fact that View has a very skewed audience to women, where 85% of our audience is women from the age group of 18 to 34, really appeals to the fact that they can have targeted messaging on View platform, especially for brands who have women audiences in mind. So exciting conversations, and the reactions are good. I think there's a journey to walk along with them.
Good one. So maybe this will become enrich how the advertiser can add on the streaming platform. The questions goes to you, Bu Priyanka. How does the organizations such as yours working with the publishers as well as agency to advance the streaming ecosystem? I have another questions. Maybe after that you can answer this one as well. And after Pak Avijit share very interesting 360 degrees, how the advertisers can be top of mind through the OTT streaming platform, I believe the programmatic also can bring the benefits to OTT or CTV buying. Can you share it?
Yeah, completely. So choosing the right technology, whether it's for buyers or sellers, is the critical part for a great viewing experience and ad experience. Magnite Streaming is a culmination of 10 years of innovation across CTV, OTT, wherein we have brought two platforms together, Magnite CTV and SpotX. So basically what we have done is we have brought the best of two platforms into one single user interface. And this has been done after taking a lot of feedback from our publisher partners, from our agency partners, making sure that we are streamlining and simplifying the platform to offer the core functionalities. Today, when we work with the publishers, obviously, you were talking about different forms of content. What Magnite is doing is we are working on technologies like server-side ad insertions, SSAI, which technically helps to create ad slots into long form of content, exactly replicating the TV-like model and bringing that same kind of user experience when it comes to OTT CTV. And that's just one. We are working on multiple technologies, tools, which is around ad podding, creating those right ad slots, which helps in frequency capping. Today, everyone is working towards that great user experience, and we all need to come together and understand what annoys us as a consumer. Whether it's getting exposed to repetitive ads, which can be completely controlled using right technology like Magnite, that's number one. Whether we are talking about competitive ad separation, wherein we are making sure that no two competitor ads are shown back to each other. Now, today when we talk about programmatic, it helps publishers in yield management. It helps them to increase the overall fill rate and obviously increase the CPMs of the inventory available. On the ad agency and advertiser side, today we are investing in supply path optimization, SPO efforts. We are making sure that we are providing them one single dashboard to reach out to 50 different publishers, maintain frequency capping, cross-device targeting. The technology can help both the buy side and the supply side to make the entire process very agile, which has been traditionally very manual when it was more of a managed side of the business. So Magnite has heavily invested in a lot of technology. Obviously, we represent the interests of publishers, but we are building products to help our brands as well. We have recently launched a product called ClearLine, which is direct access to the publisher inventory, which brings them closer to the sell side of the business.
Okay, thank you, Bu Priyanka. So before I go to Arief, I will go to Parian first. This will be the last questions for you, Parian, since our time is finished there. Bu Santi, can we continue this until another 30 minutes? Cannot, yeah, okay. Yeah, cannot, okay. Parian, with the options is opening now, we can going specific audience in OTT compared to TV. When would you recommend the brands to go abroad and when to go specific?
So affinity relevancy is the key. For us to decide the affinity of our audience, we can do both way. One is we do from top to bottom, or we do from bottom to top. Bardi Smarthome last year, we did top to bottom. where we decided we have 7 audience persona. For example, one is a travel lover. Those people who love to travel, they need to leave their house. The house has to have security over there. So for those traveler, we start to give them media, advertising, creativity, like, okay, you can go and travel and leave your house safely. And then we also have pet lovers, and we have all the other audience persona. So we did that top to bottom approach, and we eventually decided to see that, okay, this traveling is doing way better than for the gaming RGB audience. So we decided to double down, triple down. Actually, we quadruple down on the traveling audience. So last year we did top to bottom, but this year we are going bottom to top. What do I mean by bottom to top? So with GA4, we are able to analyze that within our 2 million active user in Bardi Smarthome, only 26,000 uses our cutting edge feature. Like when we open a door lock, we are able to know who it is, and the scenario will be customized to whoever opened the door lock. But sadly, there's only 26,000 out of 2 million active users of Bardi Smarthome that fully utilize such features. And also, according to GA4, we are able to see the insights that these 26,000 people, they have a similar affinity. They are technophile, they love the Japanese culture, they are male at an older age. So to be able to grab their attention, to be able to get more people as such to use our deeper features so that they are more loyal to Bardi Smarthome, because we are the only smart home that is able to do that at the moment, we have to reach out to them. And due to the availability of inventory, like View is focusing on drama for women, another platform is focusing on other things. We don't see there being a Japanese action tokusatsu series available in any OTT platform in Indonesia. So rather than waiting for the whole ecosystem to build up, we decided that this year we are going the bottom to top approach. We are making our own IP, which is the Badion series, and we are launching it on OTT to grab the exact audience that we want, because the best way to predict the future is to create it. I don't want to know and wait for how long you need to educate the advertisers. I'll just create it myself.
Interesting. Okay, so after we are talking about a lot of opportunities for this shifting from the TV, conventional TV, now we have multiple screens available in the market. So final questions for you, Pak Arief. Do you see, is there any potential challenge associated with the reimagining TV advertising in the streaming world? And how can advertisers navigate the issues?
Okay, interesting questions. I think in terms of challenges that I can see, I mean, especially from the point of view, earlier I was saying that we know which platform they can use. We know how they navigate on those. But I think it's always be how can we actually acknowledge this person is the same person's going around those platform, and then we can actually serve ads, not duplicating or things like that. Otherwise, because usually each platform has their own data, we can actually work with the platform first-party data. We talk a lot about combining in a safe way, using clean room is one perspective. How can we enrich each other without us exposing the data? But still those challenges arises whereby how can we actually, I'm not saying track, but identify the same person going around those, and that's one thing. The other thing is that maybe attributions, and if they actually do something around after that, how can we help identify that they are doing this because of they are after watching this as within. I think that's something that I can think of. There's no easy answers, but I think as an industry, if we collaborate and we can find a way to actually help solve these puzzles. And one way of things is that it's within ourselves. How can actually we cross-combine our data in a safely way without breaching the privacy data law? And we are seeing technology are coming out there on how we can actually enrich ourselves as a industry to help answer those questions. I think that's one way I can contribute to discussions.
Okay, thanks, Pak. And might be Telkomsel can be one of the solutions as well to unify all the data across the device or platform, ya, Pak, TV and digital.
Yeah.
After all the users using IndiHome as a Wi-Fi and the TV connections as well, ya, Pak, ya. Okay. Okay, audience, thank you for, I think that's it because Mushanti already gitu. So thanks for joining our sessions. Hopefully our sessions is bring